bit of a different one today, Niki. A lot of this is going to be kind of off the cuff. We're just going to reflect on the past year of nerdy sermons and what we've been doing here. So hopefully a lot of it will be usable. That'll be my biggest goal, is that the most of this is usable. What is up, everybody? A bit of a different one for this video that is technically our last video of the year. This has been a crazy year. We have started our nerdy sermons. It may feel like we've been doing these forever because we kind of have. We've done so many of them and they've all been so awesome. But believe it or not, we technically started our nerdy sermons this year in 2021. Now, I know what you're saying. Maybe if you've been around since last December, you're like, hang on a second. What about Advent of the Nerd? Were those not nerdy sermons? Well, not really. Those weren't at all what this actually was supposed to be. Whenever I first wrote those Advent sermons last year, I had literally no intention of continuing them going past that month. But then I enjoyed putting those together so much. I thought they were so helpful and beneficial and really helpful for what it meant for us to disciple here in this community that we just kept going. And so we started up with B-Stars way back when and just kind of kept them going from then. And we are technically wrapping up our second season because I consider our first season the ones that I did towards the beginning. And then once we hired our delightful editor, Niki, that was kind of the start of our second season. And now, starting next week, we're going to start our third season of our nerdy sermons. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. We first kind of started testing around with Advent of the Nerd, and I go back and I watch those videos and I blush sometimes, but now just look at how far we've come and how much of my beard I've thankfully shaved off. I cannot believe my wife let me get away with how long that beard was. In a way of kind of sharing in this exciting end of the year video, I just wanted to share some of my favorite videos, some of your favorite videos, some of the things that we thought about on our Discord, and then just take some time to anticipate what this next season is going to look like. So one of my favorite videos from the past year, the real reality and the real kicker in the pants with this particular project is that I get to talk about some of my favorite things. I understand that I'm just a meme of myself at this point. It's like my favorite thing of all time. That is a conversation that we can have over on our Discord. I'm there all the time. I'd love to talk about Undertale. And so I can't believe that I got to write a sermon on the anime Erased. Erased was absolutely mind-blowing for me. It was one of those shows where you can't stop watching. You just have to binge all the way to the end. And so getting to create that video and to tell you that story and to hopefully get you to watch it, that was such an incredible opportunity for me. Another one of my favorites was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I just love the opportunity to get to say the word Pokemon in a sermon. Pretty much any opportunity I get to say Jesus and Pokemon anywhere near each other is an absolute gift to me. So I enjoyed that video and putting that one together. And then I really think that one of my hallmark videos was Shaman King. Even though I think the video itself, was pretty much par for the course with the rest of them, that was the real milestone moment where we welcomed our editor Niki on board and everything really changed from there. I was getting a little bit burnt out whenever I was editing those videos every week. I was having to write them and then record them and then edit them all in the span of a week, along with all the other things that I was doing. And it was just beginning to get to the point that I couldn't do it anymore. I started to feel the passion already begin to leave me. For any of you that are out there that are YouTubers or content creators, I know that may not sound like a lot, but it's easy. It's easy to get burnt out as a YouTuber. And so once we welcomed on Niki, it really changed for the better. Everything changed and turned around pretty drastically once I was able to have an editor and just get let loose to enjoy putting together these videos and seeing how they went and how much better it felt whenever somebody else made them. Do you know that there's this like psychological thing where if you eat food that was prepared by someone else, it tastes better to you? Have you heard of this? Do you know what this is? If you cook food for yourself, it doesn't taste as good as if like your spouse or your mom or your grandmother or your great-grandmother or whoever prepares that meal for you. This is the experience that I have with these videos. Me looking back on the videos that I've edited, I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like I tried really hard there. Or there are some edits that I see and I'm like, oh, I did my best. But now that I get to see what Niki does, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like this is chef's kiss. Mwah, this is beautiful. So it's a really great experience and a really exciting transition time with Shaman King being the beginning of that. And it's fascinating to me to go back and watch Shaman King and then watch our latest videos and to see how Niki and I have kind of mind melded styles. She's picked up on my humor really well. Everything works out pretty great. So that's exciting. So now, what about some of your favorites? What are some of your videos? Well, our 3 most viewed of these sermon videos. Number 1, we have Midnight Mass, which for some reason is just popping off. I don't know. It was such a good video. It was such a good topic. Midnight Mass was such a good show. It was brilliant, but I had no expectation that that one would get up as high as it is, because it's not, I mean, it is about like monsters, you know, so that's pretty nerdy, but it's not like inherently something we normally talk about. It's not an anime. It's not a video game. And those are our 2 normal tropes that we kind of get after. And Midnight Mass was neither one of those, but holy moly, you guys, that's our first video to ever pop over 1,000 views. I don't know where it is now, depending on when you're watching this video, but it's just incredible to me how that video just really took off. And for some reason, asked all the right questions and really got a lot of attention. So it's super exciting that. Our second video that has the most views is the Can Christians Watch Anime video. Now this video actually was an accident, which is a little embarrassing to admit, but this video wasn't supposed to happen. But this was one of those weeks. Remember, I was mentioning that I was getting burned out. And so I didn't have a sermon idea, and I was getting frustrated, and I was doom scrolling through Twitter, and I saw just one more person talk about how anime is of the devil and how Christians can't watch anime. And I was like, doggone it, I'm going to make a video. And so I did. I sat down and I did it, and I put together my usual line of thinking, my usual thoughts and arguments for the Can Christians Blank series, and it just came out exactly as it needed to, and clearly is a question that enough of you are asking that you really needed to hear. I would love for those of you that watched Can Christians Watch Anime and Can Christians Celebrate Halloween to realize that they're really kind of the same argument. But maybe y'all not ready for that. It's good. It's good. It's exciting. So I plan on doing more of the Can Christians Blank over the next couple of years and stuff like that as they kind of rise up out of the ashes as things need to be discussed. But odds are, if I ask the question, Can Christians Blank, the answer is pretty normally yes. Not 100% of the time, but a good most. And then the third most watched video was High Rise Invasion, which was a real surprise. I haven't even heard Netflix talk about it. Are they getting season 2? I have no idea if they're getting season 2 right now as I'm sharing this with you. But I was into this show. I got hooked real fast. I love the death game genre. You guys know this about me if you watch these videos. I don't know why it popped off as good as it did. It was one that I tried to edit the best I could myself. This was before we had Niki, and it was fine. But for some reason, you guys really enjoyed it. And I don't know, it was so on the nose. Like High Rise Invasion was one. How could I not talk about High Rise Invasion? Like literally the point of the show was how to get closer to God. And they kept saying it like every episode, closer to God, closer to God. I was like, well, I've got to talk about this. I've got to talk about this. So for some reason, those 3 are the ones you guys watch. So like I mentioned, that Midnight Mass is the real like turner for me, because you have Midnight Mass, then you have anime. So clearly you guys like anime more than video games. I don't know. Prove me wrong. Next year, like more of our video game videos. Or go back right now and watch all of our video game videos that we have like 100 times, and then they'll pop up and I'll come back and be like, oh, no, I can't believe this changed. Everything changed. All right, now I'm going to share some of the thoughts that you guys had over on our Discord. By the way, join our Discord if you're not on our Discord so that you can weigh in on things like this. We'd love to have you engage with our community in this way. We are asking questions about the nerdy sermons over there. We're having conversations about the nerdy sermons over there. So that is the place to go if you feel like you've reached your apex here on the YouTube channel. You can get more information through our Discord. So I asked over in our Discord just to share any thoughts they might have they wanted to share in the video. And one of the things in particular that Paraspecta shared with us is that he has actually got it memorized from every single video. And so I'm just going to read exactly what he has memorized. I'm going to be reading from the NRSV. That's just my preferred translation. It's what's going to be on the screen. If you've got a translation you prefer, feel free to use that as well. As always, I'm going to be reading from the NRSV. That's my preferred translation. It's what's going to be on the screen. If you have a translation you prefer, feel free to use that as well. Yes, I know. Look, it's easy to say, it's quick, and it gets everybody on the same page. All right, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Is that a crime? Is that a crime? I just don't want somebody reading the KJV and being like, what's up with all the d-dots? You know, it's fine. It's fine. Weish also shared that their favorite video was the Metroid one in particular, added a whole new element with spiritual gifts and how we can add those to your inventory as you travel through the game of life. Really just hit it out of the park, and I went right back to Dread to experience the Emmys with your inspiring words all over again. Yes, it is interesting. So me and Out of Sense, another one of our level 2 members, always joke about how like you always got that like sermon in your back pocket where you can talk about equipping the armor of God and talk about like the Legend of Zelda or something, talk about the Master Sword, talk about whatever. And this was kind of that opportunity. I talked about Metroid and the idea of like literally the point of Metroid, right, is you're finding your outfit, you're finding one piece at a time, putting on these spiritual gifts one at a time, figuring out what suits you just right, and knowing that sometimes you got to seek out. It's not just given to you right from the get-go. And so, yeah, I'm glad that one was impactful and really helped. Paraspectus shares again. This one was really early in my time at Checkpoint, though I realize now it was only about 6 or 7 months ago. The Sermon on Eden. Oh, I miss Eden. I loved Eden. Eden was so fun. I want more of that show. I want more from that company. I don't know if they've made anything else, but I really want it. Really strong one for me, largely because it came after some really great conversation about the shared watching of that after it was recommended on the Discord. I felt a real vibe with that one and it stuck with me. I also really loved the sermons on media you didn't enjoy, not because I like hearing you rage at them or anything. I found myself disliking every character in the game. No. But because even in some that you don't personally enjoy, you find elements of the story in them that I find really illuminating or driving questions. The two that come to mind are 12 Minutes and Demon Souls. With the former, the counter to the lack of redemption in 12 Minutes story, and with the latter, it's ideas of suffering and why we do it. Look, Demon Souls, okay, Demon Souls was a miserable experience, an absolutely miserable time, but at the end of the day, it's a renowned game for a reason, right? Like, I get it. I get the point. I understand how big of a deal it is. 12 Minutes, on the other hand, I don't think 12 Minutes is renowned. I don't know. It was clearly good enough to at least get a nom at the Game Awards, but it didn't win. Did it? No. And then finally, Perspectus wraps up and says, I'll be real with you. There are 3 things you preached on this year that led me to wanting to watch or play something, that is, not including things you directly suggested to me. Unpacking, Pikmin Bloom, and Omori. Rock on. So the more people I can get playing and watching and reading through the things that I recommend, that is an excellent side effect of this. My main impact with these sermons is to let you know how these things relate to scripture and how these things can relate to how we live better lives. But if I could also make recommendations, then my deep down in my heart dream to be like Gerard Khalil or X-Play or whatever, it becomes real. And I'm able to actually feel like I'm recommending a game to you and giving you a game review, even though I'm not a game reviewer. So I'll take that. I'll take that all the way to the bank. So there's a few thoughts from the Discord. And then I want to highlight a big highlight of the year. Like I've said it a million times now, but we welcomed our editor, Niki, to the team. Big claps, the awesome work that they have done. And not only an incredible editor, but a part of the conversation. I feel like Niki has done some pretty awesome stuff through the editing they provided. It's just been great. It's a great relationship. I look forward to seeing where we go in the coming year and how things continue to blossom, how we continue to read each other's mind and get each other's sense of humor and just see what the future holds. So super big claps. Be sure, type some claps in the chat down below for Niki and the incredible work that Niki's done. And so now that just leaves us at anticipating next year as we start season 3 of this thing. What is it going to hold? Who knows what 2022 holds in the future for us? We got a lot of stuff coming up, folks. We got a new Pokemon game coming out. We got Elden Ring. We got Starfield. We got the Batman. We got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great year. Now, to leave you with one final question that I'd love for you to weigh in down on the chat below. What do you want from the future of these videos? What is it that has kept you coming back video after video here? Or maybe this is your first one, in which case this is probably a weird video for you to click on first, but that's fine. We don't judge you. We welcome you here. You're welcome. You're welcome here. We say that enough in every single video. So you're welcome, even if this is your first video and it's a strange thing that you click on this one first, whatever, it's fine. But I'd love to know what keeps you coming back, what has kept you engaged with these videos, what would you love to see happen as we continue to move forward. We do actually have an end of year form that I'm going to link down below. If you want to weigh in and help us actually get some feedback to make these even better for you in the next year, please be sure, fill out that form. It's only going to ask you about the specific things that you weigh in on, so you can just talk about the videos if that's all you want to talk about. Or if you have more that you want to say, you can do that as well. But I would love to hear more from you, because this is ultimately an opportunity for us to have a conversation. And so if there's a way that I can make these videos spark your conversation better, then I want to do that. I want that. That's what I want to happen. With that, folks, I'm going to sign off for this one, but I would love to know, what are your thoughts down below? What was your favorite video? What was your favorite thing that we did? What would you love to say? Is there any thoughts that you have other than just, hey, Niki's awesome? Whatever you want to say, feel free to drop that down below as well. I want this comment section full of feedback and of thoughts and of encouragement and of excitement and of claps in the chat for Niki. It's been a great year. And folks, as always, whether this is your last video, whether you enjoyed this video, I still don't know why it would be your first, but whatever, regardless of any of those things, if you believe in God, if you go to church, if you know why you're on Checkpoint Church or not, know that God loves you, know that we love you, and know that you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, we really mean that when we say that. We want you to be a part of this community. We want you to engage in this place. We want you to know that you are a person of worth, no matter what the church has told you before. Whether you consider me your pastor or not, that doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't, but I still, as a pastor, want you to know that God loves you, that we love you, and that you matter. That's why we say it at the end of every single video, of every single stream, every single thing that we do. That is what we want to end on. We want you to know that no matter what, those things are absolutely true about every single one of you at any particular time. Those things remain to be true about every single one of you out there. All right, folks, with that, I really am going to sign off, but I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your year, a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you for season 3 of the show. I cannot wait to see what happens as we continue to go forward. Until the next time that I get to see you, folks, bye-bye! Take down these buckets. So I'm going to draw racking. Okay. Take down those buckets. What? Good fish. No! What? All 3 of them? And then they get to go under? Oh, that's some bullocks right there is what that is. Absolutely not. I disapprove of this message. If I'd known that, I would have used the fans. I could have won. I could have just won if I'd known that. I could have won the game. I could have just beaten the game. Oh my goodness. Do I have to go through the whole thing again if I lose?